The war ended. Weapons fell silent. Flags were raised, and the world declared peace. History marked it as an ending, but for those who survived, it was not an ending at all. It was the moment suffering stopped being visible and became permanent. When the final announcements were made, survivors stepped outside expecting relief. Instead, they were met by silence, thick, unnatural silence. Streets that once carried laughter and noise now echoed with nothing at all. Homes were gone. Kitchens, bedrooms, family tables flattened into debris. Survivors stood where walls once stood, trying to remember which corner of rubble used to be their lives. Survival did not mean safety. Many discovered that the war had taken more than buildings. It had taken their legal identity. Borders shifted. Nations disappeared, and millions suddenly belonged nowhere. Trains still moved, but now they carried refugees instead of soldiers. Families boarded without knowing where they were going, only knowing they could not stay. Temporary camps became permanent realities. Tents replaced homes. Waiting replaced living. Days blurred together, defined by uncertainty and exhaustion. Food shortages followed peace. Hunger became routine. Adults skipped meals so children could eat. Survival demanded constant sacrifice, even after the war officially ended. Work was rare. Entire economies had collapsed. Skilled professionals became laborers. Pride was replaced by necessity. The war erased not only buildings but identities. Children grew up without childhoods. Schools were destroyed. Playgrounds replaced by rubble. They learned survival before they learned joy. At night, peace offered no comfort. Silence amplified memory. Sudden sounds triggered fear. Sleep became fragmented, haunted by what could not be forgotten. Trauma did not announce itself. It lived quietly in shaking hands, distant stares, and words left unspoken. There were no medals for endurance. Many survivors carried guilt heavier than any wound. They asked why they lived while others did not. Survival itself became a lifelong question without an answer. Governments focused on rebuilding infrastructure. Roads, factories, and monuments rose quickly. Emotional ruins were ignored, too complex, too invisible. History moved forward at full speed. Newspapers celebrated recovery. Speeches praised victory. Ordinary people struggled quietly, forgotten by progress. New homes were built, but they never felt like the old ones. New beginnings never erased what was lost. Survival did not mean healing. It meant endurance. Relationships changed. Trust was fragile. War had taught people that everything familiar could disappear overnight. Years passed, but the war never fully left. It followed survivors into old age, living quietly in memory and silence. Their suffering was not dramatic. It was persistent. It did not demand attention. Yet it shaped the post-war world more deeply than any battlefield victory. They were not remembered as heroes. But without their endurance, there would be no rebuilding, no recovery, no future at all. The war ended. History turned the page. But for those who survived, suffering did not end. It became invisible, carried silently for the rest of their lives.